Welcome to the Ecommerce Marketing Podcast, the highly rated digital marketing podcast that provides weekly digital marketing tips and strategies from some of the world's top digital marketers and e-commerce entrepreneurs that will help you take your digital marketing to the next level. Sit back and enjoy this power-packed episode hosted by Arlen Robinson, who is an e-commerce entrepreneur and digital marketing expert with over 20 years of experience.
This episode has been sponsored by the customer engagement platform SAP Ecommerce that have been helping their clients be customer obsessed for years. Recent research from Forrester has found that customer-obsessed marketers are more than twice as likely to collect or transform real-time data for use in marketing programs and almost twice as likely to use all the data available to them in making customer decisions. At SAP Ecommerce, they help to empower the marketer's path towards greater omni-channel engagement, whether that's pioneering advancements in personalization or growing loyalty to extend a customer's lifespan with a brand by engaging anywhere and personalizing everywhere. Visit emarsis.com to find out more.
Hey, e-commerce marketing podcast listener. Are you looking to increase traffic and sales to your website? You can do this by launching your own affiliate program. Just visit getosi.com and sign up for a free trial today. That's getosi.com. Now get ready to hear from your e-commerce marketing expert of the week as they drill down to give you details on marketing strategies that can help grow your business.
Welcome back to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast, everyone. My name is Arlen Robinson, and I am your host. And today we have a very special guest, Greg Reiter, who is the founder and CEO of LaunchCart, which he's often referred to as the internet's best friend. Greg Reiter has spent the past 15 years coaching thousands of entrepreneurs to raise capital, market their business, and ring the cash register. He has over 35 years of experience in corporate finance, capital formation, executive level management, mergers and acquisitions, software development, licensing and distribution, and sales and marketing. As a self-declared digital marketing guru, Greg has generated millions of dollars in revenue using the exact strategies he teaches in seminars and keynotes across the country. Welcome to the podcast, Greg.
Thanks, Arlen. I appreciate it, man. Glad to be here.
Yeah, thank you for joining me. We appreciate having you on. Today I'm really excited to talk about our topic because, before we were recording, we were saying how it's a strategy. A lot of times I hadn't really covered directly on the podcast. And, we're talking about the use of order bumps on the checkout phase of a shopping cart to increase the average order value, which is something, a lot of e-commerce stores and up-and-coming stores aren't doing a lot of, but I think it's really something that can be effective and can really help to increase that average order value. So you're gonna definitely enlighten us on how it all works. But before we do get into all of that, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your background and specifically how you got into what you're doing today?
No, I appreciate that. And it really, e-commerce is all about, lifetime customer value and, increasing the average order value. But I have a really cool background, and it's like you ever read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
Yes, Steph, I have.
So I always tell people that book was written about me. So if you know Robert Kiyosaki, tell him to start sending me my royalties. So I was born into a really wealthy family, and my parents got divorced when I was 2, and I visited my rich dad. My mom got married, divorced, married, divorced, and married. So I had multiple stepdads. Wow. And then my dad taught me to invest when I was 19. I got my stockbroker's license when I was 20. And I read the book Think and Grow Rich. Yep. And got into, personal development with Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn and Dennis Waitley and Zig Ziglar and Brian Tracy. Okay. And then I went and bought the firm I worked for right about the time I turned 22 and became the youngest owner of an investment bank in the history of the country. Oh, wow. And I tell people that was my first big mistake in life. But I've always been an early adopter and got into the internet. And actually in 1997, I bought the very first mall on drop shipping mall on the internet. It was called firstnetmall.com. Okay. And this is before search engines indexed, based on relevancy. They indexed alphabetically, and because it was one ST, it always came up first in the searches when people were shopping. Gotcha. And then when they changed all that, it went out of business, right? So, but I remember in 1997 going, e-commerce is going to be big. It's going to be big.
Right.
And it's like, so, been around for a long time. And then kind of fast forwarding to 2015, I started a company called Celebrity Lifestyle Brands with my business partner. My business partner is responsible for taking Damon John's FUBU from 100 million to 400 million. And then he took Russell Simmons' brand from 80 million to 800 million. Then he launched Jennifer Lopez's brand and Nicki Minaj and Adam Levine in his partnership with Tommy Hilfiger and did $4 billion worth of business. And him and I started a company called Celebrity Lifestyle Brands to help influencers and celebrities really build a brand out of their fan base. And in doing that, we started working on Shopify. And we were building Shopify stores and doing millions of dollars. And as a digital marketing guy, again, going back to 1997, I started digital marketing in 1997. Mm-hmm. And, we were one of the very first people to use audio and video and, long form sales pages and all that kind of stuff on the internet. Shopify just didn't cut it. It was just like, God, this platform just doesn't have the tools that real digital marketers need and want. Yeah. And so we decided to create Launchcart, and that's kind of how this whole thing started.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, thank you for sharing that. And, like we even said at the beginning and in your description there, you've definitely kind of had your hands in a lot over these years and over these past decades. And so it is crazy to think how much things have changed. You talked about that initial drop shipping mall that you purchased and how things, when they Google indexed them, the preference was based on the alphabetical domain names, and how, a lot easier it would be to rank back then as opposed to how things are now. So, I guess you could say those were kind of the good old days where, you could really, get in there and get a lot of exposure by doing things like that. But, fortunately their algorithm has matured, over the years.
Yeah, that's
really,
for sure.
Really definitely changed quite a bit. But, it's just like with anything, you just got to shift and go with the flow and adjust to the changing times, which I think all of us have done. But today, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, we're going to be talking about order bumps. And so what I want to start with is really for those that aren't familiar with the concept, can you really explain what an order bump is and, how does it work, in context with the e-commerce checkout?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. Again, like everything we're doing in e-commerce we're trying to track and optimize, right? It's like always about tracking and optimize. And if you can get somebody to add something to their order at the point of checkout, that's going to increase your average order value and hopefully your profit per order, that's a good thing, right? And you think about that going, well, what do you really mean by that? It's like, well, it's being done every day, everywhere you go. Like maybe McDonald's invented it. I don't know. Would you like fries with that order? Right. That's the concept. It's like they're going to give you that hamburger at cost because they're going to sell you that soda pop and those fries that has 80% margins on it. Yeah. Right. So, and you start to be aware of this, right? And wherever you go, and maybe even in some cases, you're in the checkout aisle, right? At the grocery market. Yeah. And what's there? The order bumps, the gum, the candy, the magazines, those are things that you're trying to just put in front of them. That's not your core offer. It's not your hero product, but it's just something that maybe is congruent with what they're buying, that they might go, oh, impulse buy. Oh, I'll add that to my cart for $7 or I'll get that with another 15 or 20 bucks. So that's really what an order bump is. And we like to present it in a fashion that's, easy to see on the actual checkout page. Yeah. And when you do that, you can increase your average order value, and that helps increase your profit margin and your ability to spend more money on advertising.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you're so right. I mean, the McDonald's is a perfect example. You want fries to go with that burger. And, I think another testament to the fact of how effective this is I even see this now in other spaces that you wouldn't normally think about order bump. I'll give you an example. I love shopping for discount fashion. So I'm always going to the Marshalls, the TJ Maxx. So TJ Maxx is one of my favorite spots. And so, they have a huge kind of order bump now. When you go to their checkout area, it's kind of like a little wraparound. I mean, they've got everything from chocolate candies to caramel popcorn to cell phone chargers. I mean, you name it. They've just kind of flooded their whole checkout area with these order bumps, and they work because I fell for them a few times. I've been shopping, and then you get done with your shopping, you're a little bit hungry, you see these tantalizing chocolates and you say, I got to get them. And then, I'm observing the whole process and I see other people doing the same thing because you're kind of stuck in this one queue for, maybe 5-10 minutes and you're going to start looking around and grab something. And that's adding to your order value. And that's really, these retail giants are seeing it being effective. So of course it can also be effective.
That's such a good example, right? And then Best Buy does it. And Fry's Electronics does it. It's like you see that they wrap you through. And of course, every theme park does it too, right? You come off the ride and then you got to go through, the things before you get out. So it's almost about just trying to increase the average order value, putting stuff in front of people.
Yeah, exactly. So, with increasing this and for business and e-commerce businesses thinking about doing it, what do you think are some of the types of products or services that make for, really the most effective order bumps? Are there any specific industries or niches that really can benefit from this strategy more than others?
Well, it really kind of comes back to, every niche, every industry, every store has a theme, it has its avatar, it has its product line, stuff like that. So it's really about trying to be congruent with what they're buying. And with the right technology, like that we have at LaunchCart, you might have one order bump for this particular product and a different order bump for this particular product. So depending on what they buy in your main store, the order bump on the checkout page could be different based on what they're buying, with the idea to be congruent. But if we were just to try to simplify it, one of the things that I love to coach people and what I love to tell people is, can you add a digital download as an order bump for whatever you're selling? So let's say one time I was working with a celebrity and she had this brand called Skinny Girl, and we had white jeans. And so we created this ebook that was how to keep white jeans white.
Right.
And of course, women want to keep their white jeans white, right?
For sure.
And it was like, add this to your cart for $7. And it's like, they're spending $130 on these really expensive jeans. What's another $7? But it was pure profit because it was a digital download, didn't cost us anything. And it was 3 or 4 pages on how to, take care of your jeans. So that would be one example of, how you can do a digital download tied to something that's already in there. Now, again, let's say you're talking to families and your audience is maybe grandmas and moms. Well, maybe it could be a little coloring book for the kids, a digital download coloring book for the kids, or maybe it could be a little cookbook. If it has anything to do with the cooking world, it could be some digital download recipes. I have a site that maybe will show that's called Rescue Joe, and it's a coffee brand that we sell. And the idea is it's drink a cup, save a pup. And the idea is that it's a coffee brand that we raise a little bit of money for dog rescues, right? Because I love dogs and I've always had rescue dogs. So I could have an ebook on how to puppy train your rescue dog, or how to potty train your rescue dog, or how to, just an ebook on how to train your dog in different areas. Right. And you can split test, different various of that, but that's a really good one because again, there's no cost of goods. It's digitally delivered, and it's 97% of it is to your bottom line. I mean, 97%, because you got 3% of your merchant fees go to MasterCard, Visa, or whoever you're using PayPal for your checkout. It's just pure profits. So really, it's about thinking that really through. Can you can you create something digital download ebook? And if you can, that's a great one to go with. Otherwise, go with something that's like, if they bought a shirt, maybe want a coffee mug or a water bottle. Maybe it's some sticker packs. I love stickers too, because stickers are like, 4 cents a sticker, and you can sell them for $3, or you can sell a 10 pack for $8, stuff like that.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that digital download product because, like you said, there's just really no cost of goods there. You don't have to do anything with regards to your shipping, no increase in that. And that's, the example you use is a great example of how to keep your white jeans clean.
Yeah. And another thing I'd share with everybody, because again, you and I have been around this industry for a long time. So we know what private label rights is, right? You remember the old private label rights? If you were typing private label right ebooks, you'll find marketplaces of ebooks that are already written that you can private label on every subject under the sun, from knitting socks to, painting garages, who knows what. It's just all out there. And then you say, okay, wait a second. What about this new stuff, AI and chat GTP? You can create your own ebook literally in hours as opposed to weeks, right? It's like you just type in what you want. It'll help you write that ebook and create some really good content. So there's no excuse not to have something to try that and test it. And then another one I love is just gift wrapping, right? Mm-hmm. If you have the ability to offer gift wrapping at your 3PL, gift wrapping and again, depending on if it's Valentine's Day, that's where you want to have gift wrapping as your order bump, right? Because you know 90% of people buying a gift for their Valentine. Mm-hmm. So it's always really thinking it through and methodically setting that stuff up, and then testing what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, you're totally right. There's really no excuse these days because there's so many ways to get the content. And yeah, the private label rights to an ebook. Yeah, I hadn't heard of that, but yeah, I guess you're totally right about that. That would be another great way to just acquire something that's already written. You don't have to worry about writing it. You just acquire the rights and then are able to distribute it to your customers for sure. You also just mentioned testing, which leads me to my next question. Once you've done this, let's say you've added the order bump out there on the site, how does the business test and optimize these bumps, to really ensure that they're providing the most value for the customer and then also at the same time not causing any friction in the checkout process? Because that's really always a concern, especially when you're thinking about the whole cart abandonment process. You don't want, a lot of e-commerce vendors and merchants are always leery about doing anything in that checkout process because they don't want, people to jump ship before they, finalize things. So what do you think?
Yeah, no, we take people through, like we try to train and teach our launch cart customers what I call revenue optimization strategies. Okay. And fixing the leaky buckets. Mm-hmm. And the leaky buckets in e-commerce could be everything from the navigation bar, the menu of the navigation bar, the page load speed, the size of the images, things of that nature. But really, it's like you have to have the technology that tracks your analytics. So like with LaunchCart, we help track your add to carts, your reach checkouts, your sessions converted, how many purchased the order bump, and how many purchase an upsell or a downsell. So it's right on your analytics dashboard, LaunchCart. And so what I teach people is like just real simply, depending on your traffic and your amount of sales, but let's say you're making 10 sales a week, maybe you run a test for a month and then next month do another test. So you're doing 12 different tests a month and you're kind of comparing one product to another product and taking into consideration holidays in the market. Or if you're doing 100 sales a day, you can do things, hey, let's do a test every week, right? Or even a test every 2 or 3 days. Yeah. So you can start to test that stuff. But really it goes back to, you knowing your numbers and having the ability to track your analytics and then just looking at stuff. And even if you manually did it, it's like, okay, I launched this on Monday. I made 100 sales and, 10 people took the order bump. Well, that's a 10% conversion rate. Okay, let's try another product next week. Okay, and next week, 13 people did the order bump. That's a 13% order bump. Okay, that was 3% better. Mm-hmm. So you just could even manually count that and do that. But people always have to get in the mindset of track and optimize. And too many people don't do that. And a lot of e-commerce companies, they don't even have somebody that's a revenue optimization, person, right? Yeah. Maybe they're a solo entrepreneur and there's just too much work to do. So that's why, in LaunchCart, we built these tools in to make it easy and, help an entrepreneur, figure it out without too much work.
Yeah. That's good stuff. And I've had this conversation with others that have been on the guest before and about the tracking and the optimization, because you're right. A lot of times these e-commerce owners and people that are running these e-commerce sites, they'll do a change, they'll add some particular strategy, and then if it doesn't work, they kind of give up on it. They give up on it quickly. They don't even try to change it or optimize it. They say, "Oh, this doesn't work." Whatever is it they're doing, whether it's an email campaign, whether it's an adjustment to their website, it's like, "Oh, this is not going to work. Let's do what we were doing before." And that's kind of a lot of times the impulse. But yeah, you're totally right. You have to try these things and see, what the effect is, and then just continually pivot. Like you said, with the order bumps, there's, you can kind of have a list of different things that you want to try that you think will be effective, and then try them for periods of time, seeing what's the effect on the revenue over a certain amount of time, and then trying something else. And it just, you have to be willing to make those changes and continue.
And there's another strategy I teach, Arlen, is, let's say you really don't know, and you're like, I'm just guessing, and I got this idea. Yeah. Well, you know what I do? I would go to my social media account. I would make a post going, hey, I think I'm offering this as an added product to our orders.
Yeah.
Well, which one do you think goes better with this, A or B? And spend $10 and run ads to that and let people vote.
Yeah.
Right. If no one votes, you got a loser on both sides. Right. So, or you don't have a captive audience. Right. But if you have people that follow you or follow, like, again, I could do coffee, like going back to my brand, Rescue Joe. Mm-hmm. Why did I pick Rescue Joe? Because coffee's the number one, addictive drug in the world, right? Yeah, I'm guessing, I don't know, right? And then people who love their dogs love their dogs. Mm-hmm. So the combination of dog, rescue, and coffee, I have two very emotional, I love my coffee, mm-hmm. I love my dog. Now I put those together. So if I said, hey, I'm thinking about coming out with some ebooks that I could offer for $7 on my website, and I have an ebook that said how to puppy train my rescue dog, or how to train an older rescue dog, or whatever those names are, which one's more relevant? And I run ads to my audience, they're going to tell me. Yeah. The audience is always right. Mm-hmm. Right. So why not spend a little bit of money to figure out what's going to work and then implement it and then let it ring the cash register for you?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, these days things are a lot different with the social media accounts that brands have. I mean, that's your, what do you call it? That's your market base. I mean, and that's really your, what am I looking for? The word I'm looking for is, your market research can be done by just that. We talked about earlier how we've been around for so long. And, when I started, early 2000s, there was no social media, there was no Facebook, none of that. And so, if you wanted to test some things out with a specific demographic of customers, you had to hire these really expensive market research firms. They had to go through a process of, telemarketing to get people to attend these sessions. I mean, it was a whole thing. Nowadays, all you have to do, like you said, is just do a quick post, put a poll on your social media accounts and ask just a simple question. That whole process can take you like 5 minutes. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can get some, pretty quick results. So, definitely. I really take advantage of your social media following to kind of test things out and take a pulse, I guess, if you will, of your customer base. Well, Greg, as we get ready to wrap things up, I wanted to see if you would be able to share some examples or case studies of businesses that, have successfully utilized order bumps to boost their average order value and, their overall revenue. So it's either a company maybe you guys have worked with or just you're familiar with in general.
Yeah. One of the companies that was on our platform selling jewelry, mm-hmm. They were on Shopify, and I said, let's duplicate your site on Launchcart, which we did, and let's split test Shopify's order bump against Launchcart's order bump. Mm-hmm. And Shopify's order bump and the technology that they were using was on the product page.
I see.
And this was around Valentine's Day, and it was for gift wrapping. So they're buying a piece of jewelry, and it's like add gift wrapping. Mm-hmm. So I've got an email that I'm looking at, and it says that we had on Launchcart site sending traffic to both sites, mm-hmm. same amount of traffic. Launchcart's order bump that was at the checkout page,
right,
converted at 75%.
Wow!
And the owner of the Shopify store is like, "Wow, that's insane." Mm-hmm. Right. And they had 500 orders and they got 63 gift wraps.
Okay.
And that was theirs was at 12%. So theirs was 12% conversion. Ours was mm-hmm. 75%. So I ran the numbers for them and I said, okay, if you took the amount of orders you're getting a day, at 12%, it was like an extra $227 of revenue. Now they actually were paying for that gift wrapping and making that maybe $2 on it, right? Mm-hmm. So not that much profit, but they were still increasing their average order value. And with ours, it went from $227 a day, the same amount of orders with 75% conversion now is an extra $1,400 a day.
Wow.
Okay. And that was a 14% daily lift in revenue, mm-hmm. which equal to if you were to map that out for the whole month, it was an extra $42,000 a month. Or if you map that out for the year, it was an extra $510,000 a year in revenue. Okay. Now, again, what I coach, and going back to me being the entrepreneur's best friend as a former investment banker and coaching entrepreneurs, even though there's not a lot of profit in that particular metric, mm-hmm. that increased revenue helps the value of your company be more. So if I was going to sell my jewelry store and I was going on the business brokers and I wanted to list my site for sale, I'm adding an extra $500,000 a year of sales.
Wow.
Look at what they did. That's going to get me an extra, maybe $250,000 to $500,000 or maybe $1 million, maybe 2 times sales, 3 times sales in my sale price of that business.
Yeah.
So this is meaningful in every facet of what we're doing and how you do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And initially you wouldn't think so because you're just looking at that small bump in the sale price or in the order value. And it's like, okay, but when you, like you said, you compound that to, all of these additional orders and adding this to these additional orders. And that's really where it, you can kind of see the magic there of how this really can assist you not only with that revenue at the end of the year, but like you said, the end goal for the brand when they are looking to maybe, to sell, if they are looking to sell their brand, it can make a considerable difference in the value of the company.
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
So if you want, I can show a quick example of what it looks like on LaunchCart.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Sure.
Let me share my screen real quick.
Okay,
So this is that site I kind of mentioned, Rescue Joe, drink a cup, save a pup, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to go to the cart. I have something in the cart, and you say I'm buying some coffee. I'll go to checkout.
Yeah.
And you can see in checkout. Now, we believe this is the most important page on the site, right? Because this is the moment of truth where you're going to give me your credit card. So one of the other cool things that we have is we enable our users to have a drag and drop editor on the checkout page.
Okay.
So you can drag in a logo, you can drag in a countdown timer. I dragged in secure payments, secure SSL. I put this cool picture of a dog, it's cute, loving, 10% of each sale donated dog rescue. I put my little phone number here. And guess how many phone calls I get? Never. I never get a phone call.
Gotcha.
But guess what that does? It increases trust. It's a trust seal. True. And I got some more trust seals over here. And I promise you, if you go look at Shopify's checkout page, none of this stuff exists, right? You can't do it unless you're on Shopify Plus. But here's what an order bump looks like right here. Like I got the red dotted line, 20% savings. Add this to your order and save $3. A white Rescue Joe coffee mug. Drink a cup, save a pup. And again, we're split testing this right now. We'll see what it works. We'll add something here. And in the back end of our technology, I can, like I said, I can program this to be with certain products, not other products, or I can do certain things that I want to do. And we're just testing different things out. And then if they click, yes, I want this, it just refreshes the page and adds it to the order up here. And they go to the checkout.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's super, super simple. And you can see how effective this could be because, you can't miss it there. You've got it around with the dotted line, the red dotted line there. And, you see what it is. And it's something really quick and easy. Somebody can make a quick decision. Like, oh, okay, wow. There's a mug
that
there.
Impulse buy.
Yeah, exactly. I can add that. That's not going to break the bank. The initial $8 there. And, at the end of the day, doesn't take you that much and it's not costing the end customer that much at all. So, great. I really like how that's really, kind of, seamlessly really just embedded there. And you guys have given these store owners the power to just easily add that there. So that's good stuff. Well, Greg, this has been awesome. I've really learned a lot about order bumps. This is always, like I said, I've always been kind of observing this in the real world and, my adventures in the retail space and just my shopping alone, just going to different places and just how much you see this or how many different retail establishments are starting to do this or have been doing this and are more and more doing it that you wouldn't really expect is really a testament to the fact that, even the small e-commerce shop should be doing it and why it's really so effective. So, definitely encourage anybody watching or listening to try it out and just, see what it can do for your business, for sure. Well, Greg, lastly, before we do let you go, I always like to switch gears here just so our audience can get to know you a little bit better. If you don't mind sharing one closing fun fact about yourself that you think our audience would be interested to know.
I don't know if they're interested to know, but I'm a bird nut and I'm a hang glider pilot and I'm a former falconer. So I used to train falcons to hunt pheasant and rabbits. And that was like a cool sport. Yeah. And that led me to get into hang gliding. And then I became a hang glider pilot. And, now I run off mountains on my feet and I fly around at thousands of feet above the ground and land on my feet like a bird. So
okay, wow, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, very unique, and thanks for sharing that. The falcons those are the birds where I guess you wear like a big leather padded glove, and then they go off to get the prey, and then they return with it. Okay, yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, I'm thinking of a video from back in the day by the late R&B artist Aaliyah. One of her videos, she actually used a falcon that went off and was going to get some prey. So that kind of jogged my memory of the video. I can't remember the song that she had with that, but yeah, she did use a falcon in the video, and I remember seeing kind of a behind the scenes to that. It was actually a real falcon. So yeah, good stuff, and yeah, thank you for sharing that. We really appreciate it. But before we do, let you go, if our listeners want to reach out to you and pick your brain any more about average order values or really anything under the sun as far as digital marketing and e-commerce are concerned, what's the best way for them to reach you?
You know what? At launchcart.com, that's where you can get our software and through there. And then once you become a customer, you're going to hear about us and hear about our live stream. We do a lot of training, lives all during the week. I have all kinds of different trainers teaching and training and doing this stuff. And then we have a really active Facebook community called the Launchcart Official Group. Okay. And in there, we're always dropping bombs and sharing stuff. But really, we do this for all of our Launchcart customers. And because we have a freemium model, you literally can go to launchcart.com, sign up for free, no credit card, no money up front, and you can check it out, kick the tires and see how it compares to other platforms and see how we have funnels and pages and order bumps and check out page editors and all kinds of cool stuff and features like that. Okay. And for anybody that wants to launch a brand and merch store, we integrate with some of the print-on-demand providers. Okay. So it's just a perfect thing. And then, of course, at my personal domain, gregwriter.com, I have a newsletter that I email out maybe once a week or something like that called Writer's Wisdom, where I try to share things that I've learned over the years that help entrepreneurs succeed and help entrepreneurs avoid the landmines and help entrepreneurs, ring the cash register.
Okay, that's awesome. Well, yeah, thank you for sharing that. We'll definitely be sure to include those links in the show notes so our listeners and viewers can access that, and definitely encourage them to take a look at those resources you provide and to reach out to you as well. If they think, your products and services and your wisdom can be a benefit to them. Well, great, Greg. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you today. I've definitely learned a ton, as I mentioned, and we really appreciate you coming on to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And everyone, do what I do. Wake up every day with an attitude of gratitude and tell somebody you love them. And I promise you have a better day.
Right. That's awesome. Yeah, I definitely concur.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Marketing Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share it with everyone you know. Are you looking to take your digital marketing to the next level, but are tired of wading through countless YouTube videos with unproven and untrusted marketing strategies? Well, we have the answer for you. The More Sales Every Month online digital marketing course. In this information-packed course, you will learn effective keyword research, link building, content marketing, and much more to attract and convert your site visitors into paying customers. Just go to moresaleseverymonth.com and sign up today for a low one-time fee. In addition to this power-packed course, if you would like to get access to a growing repository of digital marketing articles, PDFs, and ebooks, check out getosi.com/resources and opt in to get full access to our library of priceless marketing information to help you take your digital marketing to the next level.